two more sort of quick lessons along the way. And so we sort of taken through the customer life cycle, awareness, evaluation, right? What does that mean for product design? What does that mean for your sales channel, if you will? What we found was the role of the events have changed. And so the role of events, right? The software industry is heavy into events. Lots of seminars, you bring people together. In the 90s, the events played a role early on in the process because that was the only vehicle for them to engage with you, right? They weren't ready to call the sales rep yet. There's no such thing as the web to kind of go to, right? No website to collect information. And so they would go to an event. They would sit, a room like this, kind of listen to it, look at the demo, find other people to talk to, and so on and so forth. We found the role of the event became shifted to what I'll call like the Apple Store. And so we do a lot of events. We do a lot of events worldwide. We do physical events. What we found was, people really liked the product. They really, the online experience was fantastic. But at the end of the day, they wanted a physical event. They wanted to see the product. They wanted to have a face-to-face, right, with somebody, not just a telephone conversation. They wanted to talk to other customers. And so they wanted what the function that the Apple Store fills, right, where you can kind of buy an Apple, but at the end of the day, it's kind of nice to walk into the Apple Store to kind of play with it. And I've got my own story. When I wanted to buy a new computer, this was 3 or 4 years ago, I just swore I wouldn't buy a Dell, right? Everybody's got Dells. I use a Dell at work. It was uncool. I didn't want a Dell. And so what was I going to buy? And so, I go online, right, like everybody else. I'm going to PC Week. I'm going to PC World, right? This alien computer looks pretty good, but, it's kind of expensive, and it's too cool, right? You got to be like a hardcore gamer. I'm not a hardcore gamer anymore, right? I'm kind of too old for that stuff. And so, at the end of the day, the Sony Vaio looks pretty good. It's got all this multimedia stuff. It's super quiet. It's like a sleek black box. It kind of looked good on my desk. But I sat on it. I sat on it for 3 or 4 weeks, and what I wound up doing is I wound up driving down to Palo Alto, right here, and going into the Sony Style Store and kind of looking at it, right? And then what I did was I went back online and bought it from Amazon to save on the tax. But that was okay, right? Because at the end of the day, Sony did a sale, and so what we found is there's still a human element involved in a lot of decision making, and that's the Apple Store has been a huge success for Apple, and what we find is our event is kind of like that. And so my dream is to have like a permanent, location somewhere on Times Square where you can just kind of go in and play with Salesforce. And I don't know if it's cost effective for us, but that would be a 24-hour place, just like the Apple Store in Times Square.